Hello YouTube, this is Dr. Ronald W. Satz, founder and chair of the International Society of Unified Science and president of TransPower Corporation, a commercial and custom software manufacturing and certified systems engineering company. I work as a theoretical physicist and also as a systems and mechanical engineer. Today I have two topics for you in regard to the reciprocal system of physical theory, as I usually do in my weekly screencast, negative mass nonsense, and how life first began. So here we go. We'll go to Science Daily, as we often do, for the latest research news. And it says here, this is from Washington State University, April 17, 2017. It says, physicists have created a fluid with negative mass, which is exactly what it sounds like. Push it, and unlike every physical object in the world we know, it doesn't accelerate in the direction it was pushed. It accelerates backwards. So, what's really going on here? He says the colleagues created the conditions for negative mass by cooling rubidium atoms to just a hair above absolute zero, creating what is known in conventional theory as Bose-Einstein condensate. In this state, predicted by Saturenda, Bose, and Albert Einstein, particles move extremely slowly and following principles of quantum mechanics behave like waves. No. This is nonsense. Let's see what else other nonsense is in here. So to create negative mass, the researchers applied a second set of lasers that kick the atoms back and forth and change the way they spin. Now, when the rubidium rushes out fast enough, it behaves as if it has negative mass. Once you push it, accelerates backwards. Who acted as a theorist analyzing the system. Looks like the rubidium hits an invisible wall. Okay, so what's really going on here? See, these researchers are clueless. The conventional theoreticians misinterpret the results of the experiment. At extreme cold temperature and with the atoms within unit distance of one another, that's within 1 unit of natural space of one another, an inward force will strengthen the inverse gravitational force within unit distance, and so the atoms will move backward rather than forward. The equilibrium distance is that in which the outward force, inverse gravitation in this case, and the inward force, the inverse progression of space-time, are equal. That's the interatomic distance. So all that these researchers did is poke these atoms so that they got closer than the normal equilibrium distance at that temperature. And so the atoms naturally move in the opposite direction. It's so obvious. Okay, now let's go to the second topic today, how life first began. I'll go to Science Daily. This is from the University of Wisconsin-Madison. And I'll read the summary. Combining theory with experiment, scientists are trying to understand how life can arise from non-life. Researchers are conducting experiments to test the idea that life-like chemical reactions might develop readily under the right conditions. The work addresses some of the deepest mysteries in biology. Well, I'll keep reading this a little bit more. On a lab benchtop, a handful of glass vials taped to a rocker gently sway back and forth. Inside the vials, a mixture of organic chemicals and tiny particles of fool's gold are begging a question, seemingly beyond their humble appearance. Where did life come from? Well, these people are they really have no clue. Wow, but although I'll say this, they did receive $2.5 million in funding from NASA. Wow. Okay, that's nice. All right, well, they obviously don't know. All right, what does a reciprocal system say? So actually, a step change is necessary to go from non-life to life. That is, there's a discontinuity. In the reciprocal system, atoms, termed mesons in conventional theory, from the cosmic or inverse sector of the universe, associate themselves with complex material molecules, RNA and DNA, to form a biological cell. The structure of the biological cell keeps the inverse atoms from decaying, which of course they would do ordinarily. Life in some respects represents inverse entropy, which is what one would expect from the control exercised by the inverse atoms. And by the way, the major process in our material sector, the physical realm, is aggregation. What the inverse atoms in the nucleus of the cell do is they zip apart DNA and RNA molecules, which is pretty interesting. Okay, so for more information on that, please read Dewey B. Larson's work Beyond Space and Time for the details. And that's really the only place you'll find much in the way of the biological science that we've covered so far with the reciprocal system. All right, so that does it for today. Thanks for your attention, of course. Please study the reciprocal system and prove it for yourself. The simplest possible treatment of the theory is my work, The Unmysterious Universe. You can find it at Amazon.com or transpowercorp.com, like all of my work. It has all the concepts, many diagrams. You'll get a good feel for the system from reading that book. Now, if you do want all the mathematical detail, and I mean thousands and thousands of equations, diagrams, tables, etc., please obtain my software ebook, Existence and Interactions, a computational treatise of the reciprocal system, the true theory of everything. 711 pages in the PDF, 1711 slides in the PowerPoint file. Again, thousands of equations, diagrams, tables. It'll keep you busy for months studying this work. Now, once you get through that, you should be ready for the two database modules, the reciprocal system microcosmos database and the reciprocal system macrocosmos database. The microcosmos database has all the calculations for the properties of photons, subatoms, atoms, compounds, alloys. Covers both material and cosmic particles. Very comprehensive. There's a great deal of graphing that's available to do. The macrocosmos database has all the astrophysical properties, the universe as a whole, galaxy clusters and groups, star clusters, stars, planets, moons, minor bodies like asteroids and comets, nebulae, dust clouds, and voids. Very comprehensive. Again, there's a great graphing facility with this database. The two database modules are the verification of the reciprocal system. The reciprocal system is now scientifically verified. If you're skeptical, you have to study the work. You have to obtain my work, and then you'll see the proof. All right, again, thanks for your attention. And again, please study the reciprocal system and prove it for yourself.